Let me get the butterflies out. Welcome to Destiny Revealed, IceDJGaming.com's Destiny focused podcast. We're going to try to do these things periodically, where we'll talk about Bungie and Activision's, critically acclaimed or not so critically acclaimed game, depending on who you ask. But we're really excited about the game, and I'm sure you are if you're listening to this podcast. Today, I'm joined by Jake. How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing pretty good. Just enjoying Destiny, as I think most of us are.
Awesome, man. And Jason as well, joined by Jason.
Good, glad to be here. Having fun Destiny as well.
Yeah, man. I just got off Destiny right before we started recording this podcast, and I was having a blast with a lot of the other guys from IceDJGaming.com. So let's go ahead and get into our topics. We have a few topics here, and we're going to go through those. So let's go ahead and jump in. Jake, can you just tell us about your Destiny character, the class, and what level you're currently at?
So I'm playing as the Hunter, the Blade Dancer subclass, which is a lot of fun. Just slicing through enemies. It feels great. It feels awesome. And right now I'm a level 21. I'm almost to 22. Though I'm working my way up.
Awesome. And Jason, how about you?
Yeah, so I played, before the full game launch, I played both the alpha and beta, and I played as all three characters, got them to the maximum level cap, and that kind of gave me like a better understanding of like who I wanted to play as. But then the problem was I didn't really have that much fun with the Titan, but I loved the other two characters, and I couldn't decide like who I wanted to play as. So when I booted up the game, it was literally like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, pick a guardian by the toe, and just literally just wiggled my joystick back and forth, and it landed on Hunter, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with the Hunter then. So yeah, and I'm glad I went with the Hunter. I'm having a lot of fun with that character right now.
Awesome. What level are you at?
Level 24.
Oh man, he's the big man in the bunch.
Yeah, you get the throne.
Yes,
I'm the one that comes and saves you guys.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah. And like you, Jason, I play a bunch of the alpha and a bunch of the beta, especially. I played the beta on both PS4 and Xbox One, and it's sad to say that I maxed out all three classes on both consoles for the beta. I was totally absorbed into Destiny and totally into it. So I liked all three classes, and for me it was pretty much between the Warlock and the Titan, and ultimately for my class I chose the Titan, and so I'm level 22 now. I'm level 22 Titan, and just trying to get my character up a whole lot more so I can get into this big raid that's out now, the House of Glass. It's the one everyone was talking about prior to the game being released. So
it's out?
Yes, right before I joined the started the podcast, they made the announcement on the actually in game, and they said that the House of Glass was available. I'm assuming you have to be at least level 22 in order to access it, because I was in a fire team with Grant, who was a level 20, and it said, that somebody in our team couldn't access it. And I know Grant, everybody else that was on the fire team, Brett and Jay, and not Jason, but John, were also level 22. So I'm assuming that because Grant was a level 20, he couldn't get in. But don't quote me on that. But it is definitely available today, and it recommends that you be a level 26 in order to access it. And I saw a tweet from Bungie earlier today saying that you can access it before level 26. They didn't specify what level, but if you did, it pretty much was enter at your own risk. Don't expect to beat it prior to being level 26. It's kind of how they put it on Twitter. So I guess we'll see. I'm going to try to at least get as close to level 26 as possible. But if I don't try it tonight, I will try it tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that raid.
Yeah, I need to buckle down, get to 26 or somewhere near there, because I really want to do the raids. Those look like so much fun.
Yeah, and I would really want to try that too, but I feel like I get my butt kicked right now, even at 24, because like even those like 22 and 24 strikes, man, I just get my butt kicked, when I head in there, and I'm like, man, I gotta almost be a couple levels above those to even do them, because they're just so difficult.
Yeah, I agree with you. But like our first topic that we have outside of our class introductions are our first week's impressions worth of the game. The game came out last Tuesday. We're recording this on Tuesday, so it came out a week from today. Tell me, Jason, what's your impression of the game so far?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really impressed with the connectivity. and just connecting with friends. It's definitely one of the best games that I've seen do that so far. I like that, just you're a couple button presses away from seeing what any of your friends are up to, and in literally like 30 seconds, you're out doing whatever they're doing, and you're right alongside them. You're in the middle of a match or a boss fight or whatever they're doing, and it's just so cool how, just a few, basically 30 seconds and a couple button presses, and you're right next to them, any friend, and you're just fighting right alongside them. So I know a lot of games have tried to do that before, but I've never seen them pull it off as well as Destiny has. I love the gameplay so far. It's definitely, as some people are saying, like Halo meets Borderlands, but I almost don't really like making that comparison because to me it's like its own box of surprises. I really like the game. It just kind of pulls everything together so well and from every major game, and just I don't know, it just does such a good job at doing everything that it does. And I've seen like a lot of articles go up in the last week saying that it has an identity crisis, and that sort of bothers me because it's like one of those games where it shouldn't matter what it is, it's just that it's fun and that it pulls off all these things so well. And then moving on from that, I've also dabbled into the Crucible a little bit, which is the online mode, the player versus player mode, and I've had a lot of fun with that. But I've also in the last week noticed a couple of big problems that should probably be fixed sometime soon, and maybe we'll dabble into that a little bit later in the podcast.
Awesome. Jake, what are your impressions?
Well, I mean, pretty much as Jason said, I'm loving it, and I can see how people have been kind of complaining about the identity crisis that it's been having. That sort of makes sense to me, but at the same time, like as you were saying, like even though it doesn't do everything perfect, it does everything pretty dang well. So I mean those parts together, I think do make it something better than what a lot of people are calling it. And I have to say, the presentation is stunning in that game. I was playing with some of the writers last night, and we were on the moon, and like the moon especially, like I just find myself getting lost looking at the skybox and everything. Like it is gorgeous. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, same thing can be said about Venus. Same thing can be said about Mars, Earth. Even though the story is pretty weak, I think the presentation makes up for that because, I mean, even though the story wasn't necessarily pulling me through the game, all the various settings, I mean, I was so excited to get to Mars. I was so excited to get to Venus. I mean, they're all just, it's beautiful looking, especially on PlayStation 4. I haven't seen it on last gen tech, but I've heard it even looks great on that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on last gen tech either, so I'm kind of curious to see how it looks. Um, my basic impression of the game is kind of like you said, Jake. The game story is like gobbledygook. It is pretty much like Peter Dinklage bot speaking over blah 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 blah. Let me hack this part. Let me open up
Yeah.
this door. You kill everybody while I do this. And so because of that, the story can be kind of repetitive, and the cutscenes, while they look great, I have no idea what they're really talking about. There's a traveler and there's some darkness, and you got to kill some people. In that kind of vein, the game really reminds me of another game we've been playing recently, and that's Diablo 3. Just in the fact that the game, Diablo is a very fun game, but the story just really makes absolutely no sense. And I feel like a lot of people are praising Diablo despite the story, but canning Destiny for the same thing. Destiny, the story, it is kind of nonsensical, and it really doesn't matter to me that that it's nonsensical. It's fun. It's a fun game, and that's what Destiny does well. It's fun and it's social. I spent so much time like on the different planets, like jumping from one from Mars to going to Venus to going to the tower to going back to Earth, like with my friends, with complete strangers, and and everything in between, just because it's a lot of fun just to get on and and talk to people and play the game. And I mean, even just last night I was playing the game, and I was up in the tower, and somebody just walked up to me, and I guess they looked at my armor, and they started asking me questions. How did you get past level 20? They didn't understand, and so we had a conversation about it, and we added each other as friends. That is something that I really haven't encountered in a game, definitely not recently, and maybe not ever. And so I think that that's like one of the hugest, one of the biggest things that Destiny does well is that social aspect, and it's fun. The controls feel great. I mean, yes, it's a first-person shooter. Yes, you are, you going from area to area, shooting a bunch of, you know, look-alike, enemies or what have you, but it always feels right. It always controls really well. And so, I like Destiny. And those people that don't, I kind of wonder if they actually get it.
Yeah, and like kind of how you were saying, like you don't really care about the story, and people praise Diablo even though it had a bad story, and people are hammering Destiny even though it has a bad story. But I don't think that's necessarily a problem either, because the gameplay is so much fun, the settings are so great that alone pulls you through the story. Like I wasn't playing through like, oh, I don't want to go here, I don't want to fight these guys because the story's not making any sense. And there are some games that are like that, like some games where I need that story to pull me through. But personally, I thought the gameplay was fun and it was stellar. Presentation was great. The co-op, that's what really pulled me through the experience, and I enjoyed it. It never really felt like a chore at all through it. But then I think one of the reasons why people are disappointed that the story is lackluster is that they do have a pretty good cast behind it. I mean, we've got Peter Dinklage, we've got Bill Nye, we've got Nathan Fillion's in it. There's another pretty big name in it as well, and it's just, I mean, it does kind of feel like wasted talent for those guys. But I still go back to what I said before, like the gameplay is fun enough where that didn't really bother me.
Yeah, I like that comparison you made too, Julius, with Diablo 3 and Destiny. I mean, it definitely do feel the same story-wise. I gotta say, I was slightly bummed because, when you watched all those E3 trailers, like they got you super hyped for like this amazing like story that you thought was gonna happen, and then it just didn't happen. But then, you started playing the gameplay, and yeah, the gameplay was so great. You really didn't care anyways. But I gotta say, like the biggest pet peeve so far is when you're playing a mission over and you got to watch that whole cutscene over again,
Yeah.
because some of those are like 3 to 5 minutes long,
Mhm.
and it's like, come on,
Yeah.
even they should let you skip it at least if you're playing like single player, like alone, and there's no one else with you and you've already seen it. Because like some of those cutscenes, like I've seen them 5 times already, so that's like I feel like that's like 15 minutes wasted. But other than that, that's pretty much my only gripe.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Sometimes replaying the missions and seeing those cutscenes over again, that does really suck. But all I know is I like jumping into the game and
Yeah.
and playing with my buddies and getting into the crucible and just like melee punching someone, like that just like makes it for me.
The
But
cutscenes are so oddly placed too. Like I'll be playing for like an hour and all of a sudden there'll be a cutscene. I'll be like, oh yeah, and then my character will talk and be like, oh yeah, that's what she sounds like, or that's what he sounds like. I mean, I almost question why they're there.
yeah, yeah, they definitely, that's definitely an area where they need to improve.
Yeah, I have
you
a
know,
feeling that's an easy fix. I have a feeling they'll patch that pretty soon.
yeah. Our next topic is, are the limited and ghost editions worth the price? The limited edition was $99, $100, and the ghost edition was $149.99, so $150. Um, I think that it's interesting that we have this topic here, especially now that the game has been out and people are playing it. So I kind of wonder, like, do you guys think like that those limited and ghost editions were worth the price?
Well, I got the what is it, the Digital Guardian edition or whatever. I think it
Uh-huh.
was like $90 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, technically, it is worth the price because I think you get all the DLC, and I think you're saving $5. So yeah, it's worth the price. But I mean, I don't. I'd recommend playing Destiny before you decide on purchasing the DLC. And I mean, if you know you're gonna love Destiny, then yeah, it's probably worth getting that just so you get those DLC packs. But if you're on the fence about it, I don't know if I'd do that. I'd probably just try it out first.
Yeah, I would say in most cases, no, the special edition's not worth it. But in this case, and there were a couple special editions. I also went with the Digital Ghost version. I think it was worth it. It was $60 cheaper than the physical counterpart because it didn't come with the Ghost and the art book and all that stuff. And it's only $30 more than the regular version. And you also get a lot of cool swag on day one, and then also like Jake said, you get the two. I think there's two DLC packs you get, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and so like those two DLC packs alone could be more than the extra $30 that you're spending. And then in that case, I think yeah, it's totally worth it because you're actually saving money
yeah. They're
down the
actually
road.
calling them expansion packs, not DLC packs. So that kind of leads me to believe that these things are going to be pretty big.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like I know Bungie doesn't like that people refer to Destiny as an MMO, but having an expansion pack sounds like, it sounds like MMO territory. So, and I hope we get that level of, DLC, that it is like an expansion pack that you would have for an MMO. So, looking forward to seeing what comes from all of that. They keep saying that the game gets better after level 20. So let's see.
Yeah.
And I guess I need to follow my own opinion on this. The limited, I got the limited edition, the $99 version, only because I couldn't get a Ghost edition on PS4. I couldn't find one. Fortunately, I mentioned on one of our other podcasts, I will be getting a Ghost. I was able to work that out with some friends, so I do have a Ghost coming and looking forward to that. And so, obviously, for me, I think it was worth the price. I think the limited edition or the Digital Guardian edition, either one, especially with everything you get, the DLC or expansion packs, what have you, I think it's definitely worth the price. And then, if for everybody that has not seen the steel book and all of the paraphernalia that comes with the game, it's really well made. It's not like a lot of times that stuff is kind of like cheap and it's kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't really get what I'm paying for here. Kind of like kind of cheesy, but I mean you can tell they put a lot of time and and effort into this into the addition of the steel book. Especially there's like an arms and armament book, and it shows like all the
That looked
weapons and
cool.
everything. Like it's so well made. I have it like sitting in my bookcase right now. It's it's very well made, and so I'm glad that I was able to get at least the limited edition. For our next topic, when we talked about classes briefly, and we talked about why we chose our classes a little bit. But let's, ask this question: will you guys try out another class?
Yeah, I think next I'm definitely going to try out another class. I think I'm going to go with the Warlock, but I'm kind of excited to try the Titan too because I didn't really like him that much, but the level cap was like level 8, so it's like I didn't really get to experience that character that much in the beta and the alpha. So I'm kind of excited to like get back into it and kind of experience him a little bit more. And I kind of really hope that Bungie adds more classes down the line too, like Diablo did.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would add some more diversity to the world because a lot of people seem like they're either picking the Warlock or the Hunter right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not as many people picking the Titan, and so I feel like you see like too many of two classes, and it would be fun to see like 4 or 5 different classes running around and communicating with each other.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Titan class was, like I said, was the one that kind of like jumped out at me the most. I really enjoyed being a Titan, but just just last night, some friends were over and they were asking about Destiny. They had not seen Destiny yet, so I just like, well, let me start it from the beginning. It's better for me to just show you instead of me trying to explain the story to you that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I started over, with a new character. I just created a new character. I created a hunter, and so I do plan on playing with that character probably a lot in the Crucible in order to level the character up, pretty quickly. But I'll definitely be, playing with my hunter at some point after I've done some of these raids and everything with my Titan.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on playing as another class. I'm super excited to try out the Warlock. I mean, I've been killed by a lot of them, and they seem like a lot of fun. I also want to try out the Titan too. I mean, and since the level cap isn't like it doesn't take too long to hit the level cap, I think that almost encourages you to pick another class, start over, start a new experience. And while they don't vary a huge amount, I think there's enough there to warrant another playthrough with a different character. So I mean, maybe not once I hit 26, but I think once I kind of tire out of my hunter, I'll definitely jump in as a warlock. I'm already looking forward to creating a new character. I'm thinking of how I'm gonna do it, what race I'm gonna choose. There's just a lot there, a lot of reason to create another class, try out new characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next topic is Jason's topic. So, Jason, if you want to go ahead and go away with this one, take this one away.
Yeah, sure. So we wanted to talk about the online Crucible a little bit, and there's 4 modes in that, and maybe I should mention what those are real quick before we dabble into it. There's Control, and that's basically where you're like holding zones and eliminating other players to score points. There's Rumble, which is 6-person free for all. There's Skirmish, which is a 3-on-3 deathmatch where you can revive your own teammates, and you do get points for that as well. And then there's also Clash, which is a 6-on-6 team deathmatch where level advantages are disabled. And so, yeah, I mean, I've been playing. I played a little bit of Control because you have to start out with that one before you unlock the other ones. And I thought it was pretty fun, but I'm definitely not like a hold the zone type of player. I never really cared for those in like Halo or other games. So I kind of moved on from that one quick and jumped into Rumble. I really like the free for all, just like kind of going after everyone. Scrimmage was really interesting too because it was just like 3-on-3, and it's kind of cool when you work as a team. There's not too many games like you play Call of Duty and no one really seems to work together. But with this one, if you don't work together, you'll never win. Like if your team's not working with you, you're definitely not going to win. I played a match last night and we just barely won with like the skin of our teeth, and it just felt really good, when we got like those last couple kills and just barely won. Felt like the team was like really working together and pulled together at the end there. Clash I haven't played that much of yet, but I have played a little bit and it's pretty fun. I don't know. What do you guys think of? Have you played any of these 4 modes?
I've tried them all, pretty much, and I really enjoy. What's the free for all one called?
Rumble.
Rumble. I've only played a couple rounds and I was having a lot of fun playing it. The thing about it is that it's super intense, especially for me. For some reason, free for all is like I can only do a couple of those because I'm one of those people who always hovers around first and second place and end up taking second place, and I just get pissed because I'm like always so close. But I'm having a lot of fun with that. And then Control right now is probably my favorite, just because that's kind of what we've been playing as a group. And I mean, it is a lot like Domination and Call of Duty, but I think with all the different powers and stuff like that, and the way people work together, it does excel in Destiny. The one thing I have with Control is that I don't know which class it is. Maybe it's the Titan, but they do that thing where they jump in the air and just punch the ground, and they get like 3 or 4 kills because everyone's hovered around the flag, and that drives me nuts. Like dying by that, it drives me nuts. But other than that, I'm having a lot of fun with Control.
Well, just to add to that real quick, because you just brought up a couple things that I totally forgot about. But yeah, when I was playing Control, another thing is people would take those tanks on the moon and they would go like right in the middle of the zone and it would take up the entire zone. Like you literally couldn't stand there and control it while someone was standing in the tank, and when you came around, they just blew you away. And then also, I think it's the Warlock. One of the Warlock's grenades takes up the entire zone. So like they'll wait for 3 people to run up and try to steal, and they'll throw a grenade there, and you can't stand there for like 30 seconds because the grenade will just kill you.
Yeah.
But I just had to point those out. But yeah, what did you think, Julius?
Yeah, I played all of the 4 main Crucible modes, and also the last weekend they had the 5th one, Salvage. They made that one available as well, and I like all of the Crucible games. I think that probably my favorite would have to be Clash. Just because I'm a team deathmatch guy on pretty much every kind of first-person shooter I play, I really prefer that mode. I like Control more than I typically like Hardpoint or Domination or Hardpoint Domination modes in other first-person shooters. I really enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to, and the Rumble is just like a crazy bananas free for all that I really enjoy a lot. But I think definitely I still say Clash. Teaming up and just like it's team versus team. I really like it a lot. And Jake, I'm sorry, but I'm all for the Titan jumping up and smashing the ground and killing like
if I was a Titan, I would probably love that. But that is always what kills me. I'm like, all right, we just need to hold this position. There's 6 of us that can't do anything, and then one guy will just sprint into the room and like Hulk smash everything, and we'll die. And like, really?
Yeah, I got last night. I think I got 4 people at once, and I was just like going crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
maybe I should be a Titan next.
The Warlocks is just as powerful though, because the Warlock can throw that thing down and take out a lot of people. All the special powers, like really, they work. They're all very, very powerful, but they all stand out on their own a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the Blade Dancer, if you can catch a couple of those guys on the location, that Blade Dancer just cuts through them. It's like paper. Like you see a couple of them, you run down, and like within seconds, they've hit the ground, and you just feel like a badass.
Yeah.
There was definitely a scrimmage match that I was playing with some friends, and it was like the very end. Like it was like another one of those matches where we like barely won. It was because 2 of us used that Blade Dancer skill like right at the very end, and we got like 6 kills in like less than 20 seconds, and it just like just cut through them like butter and just barely won, but it was awesome.
I hate you, Blade Dancers. I hate the blade dancers, man.
So
They
maybe it's
always
just all
kill
the
me.
specials.
Yeah.
But they
Jake,
don't
go ahead. I'm sorry, Jake.
they don't feel really that unbalanced though, you know? Like I mean when you're just like fighting them straight on, yeah, they feel unbalanced, but like since they don't last that long and since they're pretty hard to get there, like when someone gets there, it just I mean they don't feel unfair really. To me at least they haven't.
Yeah, and I think you probably only usually get to use them like twice in a match, if even that. Like a lot of people only end up getting to use them once.
Yeah,
It
I don't
does take
think
a
I've
while to
I
build
don't
up.
think I've used it more than 3 times in a match.
Yeah, and the only thing I have to say about it is that it's really not fair for like level ones because
Yeah.
the matchmaking is still kind of poor. Like they need to fix that because you'll see like a lot of level ones all of a sudden they jump in with like level 20s and they're not even close to getting their powers yet or double jump or grenade or anything like that. So they're just like bare bones and
Yeah.
man, they're just getting their butt kicked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without double jump it's tough to get by.
Yeah, definitely. Jason, you had one other topic. You want to go ahead with that one?
Yeah, so there's 3 guilds that you can join in Destiny after reaching level 20. And I didn't know about this. Like Destiny doesn't really explain a lot of this very well, but in some ways I kind of like that they don't explain that because it's fun to like figure some of that stuff out on your own. And I was just kind of exploring around on the tower, and then I found these 3 different characters. There were different vendors, and all their equipment is locked. And I was like, well, what's going on here? Why can't I buy any of their equipment? And then I went down and I noticed there were 2 class items for each character that you could buy. And as I put the cursor over, it said like, yeah, if you wear this class item, you'll get guild points for your character. And so you have to buy like for the hunter, their class item is the cape. So you have to buy these capes for like $2,000, and then you're basically in the guild. You can wear this cape and start getting points. And then once you rack up enough points, you'll level up for that guild, and you can buy some really rare and exotic loot. So yeah, have you guys joined any guilds yet, and what guilds have you joined?
I actually didn't even know this was a thing until I saw your topic on the outline. But this sounds pretty cool. I like the idea of how you kind of wear that guild sort of uniform, and that's how you get points for them. But honestly, I had no idea this existed, and it's kind of cool. I think that Bungie didn't kind of hammer this in, like it just kind of let players figure it out. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna join a guild now. But I don't know what any of them are, so I'll have to fish around a little bit, shop.
Yeah, I have not joined the guild either. I went around, if it wasn't yesterday, it was a couple days ago, and kind of looked at them all. I really don't necessarily think I understand what the differences between them are. I just looked at the gear and everything like that they have, that you could buy. But I think it's awesome that they have those guilds there. It just like adds to the whole mystique of the game. I know Destiny. We talked about this already. That Destiny doesn't do a great job of telling the story, but it just feels like that there's something deeper there. Like, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I've drank the Kool-Aid and I'm like all in on Destiny. That I'm like, oh, there's like so much going on. That the fact that there's these guilds and they exist, and I mean, I probably went to the tower at least about like 10 to 15 times before I realized that the future war coat was back there in that corner behind the shipwright. I just didn't know that it even existed until I just was, I think Jake mentioned it, and I was like,
Oh, that guy
what?
was a guild guy?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I talked to him like, what the hell? This guy's got all this cool stuff, and I haven't even seen this guy.
Yeah, that's the thing is like so the difference between all these guys is basically just what kind of armor you want to wear. Like if you look at them, they all kind of have like different armor sets. They have different looking weapons and whatnot. It just depends like what kind of armor and weapon sets you want, and that's the kind of guild that you want to join. And I think you can join all of them, but you can only rack up points for one at a time because you have to be wearing the class item.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like right now I'm in the future I think it's called Future Warfare that you guys just mentioned, and that one has like a really cool looking cape. But yeah, I'm running around trying to rack up points for that one right now so I can unlock some exotic armor for that class.
I'm gonna have to try that. Just to backtrack a little too. Julius, you were kind of saying how you feel like there's something more to that. Like even though the Destiny story isn't that great, you feel like there's something more to it, and I agree with that. Even though I didn't like the story, the lore there I think is awesome. Like when you walk around, you see like what happened in the past, kind of how you are on the last city. Like I think there's potential for really cool stuff. And when you start to dig deeper in that lore, there are some really cool things that Bungie had done with that. And I'm really looking forward, especially for like Destiny 2 or maybe the expansion packs, to see how they explore that, because I have a feeling after all the hits they've been getting for the story, I bet they're really going to up their game for the next one, because Bungie, if Bungie's known for anything, they love to, I mean, they love to help out their fans, they listen to their fans.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, there has to be more, and I think we'll see it in expansion packs. One, because it's Bungie. Two, just because of the fact that this feels like an MMO, and a lot of MMOs, like that first, that initial game just is, it's kind of like, oh, all right, what's this all about? This is kind of fun, but really not enough to keep me here. And then, a couple months down the line, this expansion comes out, and it's like, wow, okay, I'm totally dialed back into this game. And I think that's what we have here. We have like an awesome, a potentially awesome MMO on console. Okay, so our next topic is Jake's topic. So if Jake, you want to go ahead and get this running, let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, sure. So, Bungie has been talking a lot about the lifespan of Destiny. They say Destiny's a 10-year project. Like we're gonna be getting a lot of content for Destiny. I was wondering, do you guys think that people are still gonna be interested in Destiny in 10 years from now? Because even though when Halo first came out, people were super excited. I think the Halo trilogy lasted about 6 years, and even then you could kind of see a lot of the interest sort of dip off. I'm curious, not so much the first Destiny, but do you think like with Destiny 2, Destiny 3, do you think people will still be interested in it?
Yeah, and I wonder when they say a 10-year cycle, I wonder if they're talking about like the multiple Destinies that they'll be making, or if they're just talking about the first the Destiny that they've put out so far. And the fact that they're adding expansion packs so soon tells me that they're really going to be adding a lot to this game, especially since they already have two planned and probably even more beyond that to extend the life of this game. It kind of reminds me of almost like World of Warcraft, where they kept putting out expansions, where people would be dropping off and then an expansion would come out, and then all of a sudden they'd just get like millions of users back on again. They'd just be exploring these new parts of the world. So, yeah, definitely, I could see it lasting a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Destiny will, people will still care about Destiny 10 years from now. One, just because, this game, whether people like it or love it or they hate it, it has made a cultural impact, I think, already, at least when it comes to gaming. I mean, so many people that, don't play games at all have asked me, over the past week or so, what's this Destiny game all about? Have you played this? Oh, I want to check that out. That seems really interesting. People that really have no interest in gaming at all are asking me these questions, and I think that because of that, like it's the foundation for something that will continue to grow, and you can talk on and on about the lore, but this is something that I think will keep people engaged, whether they stay engaged the entire 10 years. I think there'll definitely be some diehards. I'll probably be one of them that'll be dialed in the whole time, but I'm sure there'll be people that Jason, like you said, they'll drop off. Then an expansion will come out, and it's like, oh, okay, there's more Destiny. Let me jump back in, or let me try it again. Or they'll wait for a review, or they'll go on icedjgaming.com and
There you go.
and read something about it, or hear something else about Destiny, and they'll want to jump back in. So I think that I think that's what we're going to get here, and so yes, my answer is yes. I think people will care about Destiny in 10 years.
Yeah, I agree. I think if Destiny did anything right, or I mean, it did a lot right, but I think one of the biggest things was create a solid foundation. Not just a solid foundation, but like an insane foundation. This game sold like crazy for a new IP. I think Watch Dogs was like the fastest selling new IP, but I think Destiny has already toppled that, which just goes to show how much the hype was built around this, how much the excitement was, and I think Destiny will still be popular in 10 years. But I think for me, I don't know if expansion packs will be able to pull me back in. I think we're going to need new titles. I think we're going to need like a Destiny 2, Destiny 3, stuff like that. Maybe not every year or every other year, but I think we're definitely going to need new entries in the franchise for me personally to jump back in. But I think for the next year or two, I'm definitely going to be checking out what they have for the new expansion packs, especially if they are as big as a lot of people have been predicting.
Awesome. Okay, so the last thing we have here on our list, on our agenda for tonight's podcast, is it's a few tips. And this was one tip that it really stuck out to me because I know, the first few times I used this, I didn't realize that, what was going on. And, it's all about, equipping upgradable items before you turn in your bounties. Bounties are really like a big part of, leveling up your character in Destiny. And, once you hit level 5, you can go straight to, go to the tower and walk straight up the stairs to the left, and you go to the robot and pick up bounties from the bounty board. The bounties are really awesome, and they're really beneficial to leveling up your guy, but or your girl, your guardian. But for me, I was just like, okay, I finished this bounty. Let me run up to the bounty person and level it up. And I was like wondering, okay, well, how does it figure out like what to improve? Why didn't it improve this part of this armor or this gun or whatever? And I realized, okay, it's leveling up the things that you have equipped. So it means a lot to the items that you want to get upgraded, or the items that you really plan on using. Equip those and make sure that you have leveled them up, because a lot of times you go to the bounty board right after you finish the patrol, or you finish the crucible, or you finish the strike, and so you probably have some other upgrades that you need to go ahead and take care of. So you can do those, and then that'll help you level up even further after the fact.
Yeah, just like you, Julius, I got off my ship for the first time when I landed in the tower, and I noticed there's like a big green exclamation point over the bounty board guy, and it's like, ooh, I gotta go get that, and then you go and get it, and it's like, oh man, like, you find out later, like, all your equipped stuff gets powered up, and they don't tell you that. And so, in some cases, I don't care if they tell you everything because it's fine to figure it out. But this is one of those things where it's like, man, I wish they would have told me that. Because if you go to the on encryption person afterwards, it's like, man, I just got all this new gear that I'm using now. And I could have went there first, then went to the bounty board and grabbed the experience to power up those new weapons that I'm going to be using. So, yeah, it's kind of a bummer they don't mention that. So, hopefully people are listening to this before they play and they learn to do that so they power up their stuff right away, right out of the gate.
Yeah, I think I hit level 20 when I found this out, so I was like, well, that's awesome. I guess I'll do that for my next character.
Awesome, awesome. The our next tip that we have available here that we're mentioning here is the Agent of Nine, and I'm not really sure how you pronounce this name here, Exer. Jason, you want to tell us more about this?
Yeah, I'm not sure how you pronounce it either. I'm gonna go with Exer as well. Yeah, there's this strange character. So me and my cousin were playing, and he's like, "Yeah, I gotta show you this guy. Like he just appeared. I don't know where he came from." And so like when you jump into the tower and you go straight, down that stairwell where the two guys are that sell you armor for crucible points. He's like right in that little hallway there, and he looks like the salesman out of like Resident Evil 4. He's just this creepy looking dude with like a trench coat over him, and just weird looking. He's got like tentacles growing out of his face and stuff, and you're like, what is this guy doing here? So you talk to him, and he wants to exchange your strange coins, which are pretty rare. I'm still not exactly sure how you get those. I know there's a couple missions that give them to you, but he wants to exchange your strange coins for really exotic armor and weapons. But the kicker is he only appears there on weekends, so he's only there like Friday through Sunday, and then he's gone. And so since this game's only been out for a week, I'm kind of wondering, when he comes back, I'm going to be curious to see if he actually has new weapons or if he always sells the same stuff. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of this?
Yeah, I read somewhere that he will actually have like new stuff when he appears, and his stock actually refreshes on the weekends while he's there. He appears on Friday. He's there all day Friday, all day Saturday, and Sunday he disappears. So you don't have a lot of time to get access to him or to try to buy something from him or exchange with him. I didn't even see him over the weekend. I didn't know anything about this. It wasn't until I was reading something online and they mentioned it, and I said, "What? How did I like?" And I know I walked down there. I ran down that hall to like
Yeah.
the Vanguard. I ran right past the creepy little dude, and I have some strange coins. I don't even remember how I picked them up. I picked them up somewhere along the way. I doubt that I have enough to buy anything, if it's anything like the Vanguard marks or anything else. But eventually I plan on having enough to buy something from him. So I'll be keeping an eye out for Xer or whatever his name is.
How many strange coins do you need to get something from him? Do you know?
Well, he has some items that only cost one, and what's cool about those is that they actually level up your weapons faster. So if
Okay.
you have if you have legendary gear, exotic gear, there's like a lot more leveling up you can do with those weapons. So it may be worth it, to buy one of those if you have like a really, really rare weapon because it could power it up really quick. Um, I didn't really want to waste any coins on that though. I wanted to save him up because he's got some like really cool exotic gear. He had some like at the time that I looked at him anyways, he had like some gauntlets that had like laser shields like around your arm, and it just looked like so
That
cool,
sounds
And then
awesome.
he had like a pulse rifle with a bayonet on the end, and it's like, oh, I wonder if that like extends like your punch or something. Like that'd be really cool
How much
with
were
your weapon
those?
or something. Oh, I think they were in like the 20s or 30s
Okay.
for the coins, and I think I have like 8 or 9 right now, so I'm about a third of the way there.
Okay, I got to be somewhere around there too, because I'd get a couple of those, and I'd like decrypt them or whatever, and I'd be like, all right, give me something good, and I'd get a strange coin, just like, well, this is awesome, don't know what to do with this thing. But yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna have to check this guy out because it sounds like he's got some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that there's something to do with those strange coins and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, what is this strange coin stuff? Like, there has to be something that you do with it.
Yeah.
And why I hear
Well, it sounds so shady too. Like you look up the description because you don't even know what it's for when you first get one. It just says like, oh, it vibrates in your hand, and it's like, what does that mean?
creep mode.
Yeah.
That's why you have to give them to the creep. That's why he wants them.
Yeah, that's why he wants them. He flips them as vibrators.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Lastly, what we want to do is we want to give a shout out to the winner of our giveaway. Just a day prior to Destiny coming out, we decided to give away a copy of Destiny to the person who did more promo for our Twitter account than anyone else. And definitely Prima Cat, Chantel, was the winner of our Destiny giveaway. So shout out to Chantel, congratulations. And your copy of Destiny on PS4 is on the way to you.
That's awesome. I'm happy we were able to do this.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. Anytime we can give something away to someone, I think that it's awesome that we can do that. So
Yeah.
and she's definitely been speaking very highly of of the podcast of Ice DJ Gaming and everything else. And actually, she just like tweeted me again. So definitely congratulations to her.
Yeah, that's awesome. So even if you don't like us, like I don't know, there's got to be some people out there. I'd still recommend following us because even today we were giving out Smash Bros codes and things like that, thanks to Jason, and we're gonna try to do more of that. So follow Ice DJ Gaming, follow Destiny Revealed. There's a third one, isn't there? Maybe not. No, I think it's just those two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so follow us. I mean, we're gonna try to get you guys some cool stuff.
Absolutely. And definitely follow us as individuals on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Respected Genius. Just change the I to a lowercase L. You can follow Jake at
Jacob Deck, JACOBDEKK.
and you can follow Jason at
At J_Smash1.
J_Smash1. All right, so that concludes our Destiny Reveal podcast. Like I said, we'll be coming to you periodically on the IceDJGaming.com podcast feed on iTunes. You'll also find this available on YouTube. So definitely please keep in touch with us. Keep following us on Twitter. Keep in touch with us to learn more about the podcast, more hints, tips, tricks, etc. related to Destiny and other game news and reviews. Peace.
See you guys.